Tree Country 1330 WTRE. It's 10:02, and good morning, Mr. Hunter.
Good morning.
This is our monthly program for the Greensburg Community Schools.
It's a change from what we've been doing in the past, but we will provide as much information as we can in this monthly meeting.
That's right. And if it doesn't work, we decided we'll go back. So
it's always change.
That's right. We try new things. Well, the school year is quickly underway and going.
You know, it's really like we've never left. I mean, it's just like one big continuous school year. It seems like the summer goes by so fast, and we're right back in the swing of it. And knock on wood, we've had very good starts of the school year. Everything's going very well in each of our buildings. Just say a big thank you to our maintenance and custodial staffs for having our buildings just really in immaculate shape for the kids to come back to. And it's always good to walk down the hallway and see those classrooms full of kids, though.
Numbers about the same as last year?
Our numbers right now, our ADM, it is down slightly. We have approximately about the same ADM as we did at the end of last school year. But I would tell you that a lot of that comes into play where we have 57 kids that are part of our new junior-senior virtual school. So we don't get full count of those 57, but we do get 85%. So that helps bring our ADM up to about 1917 right now. We're hoping to definitely be above 1900. So right now, that's about where we're at. That may vary a little bit between now and October 1st because we always have kids moving in and out. But I think it's safe to say we're probably going to be around that 1910 to 1920 range.
When you mentioned the virtual school, that's something that kicked off this year. And how's that overall going?
Well, Jennifer Bowles, she's our director of the virtual school, which is located down at the Learning Center. We have a curriculum that is online through Indiana Online Academy. They provide the curriculum for the instruction, and it's one that with 57 kids, there's a need. I mean, we've got about 14 of our kids that would have probably chosen another online option who are part of our virtual school, and then the other kids all come from outside our district. So, we're providing for over 40 kids that opportunity. There's a lot of different virtual schools in the state now, so there's a lot of choice. We were really hoping for the first year to have maybe 20, 25 kids. To have 57, I think that speaks, a lot about Jennifer and the job she's done in helping market the program and just her individual attention that she's given to the students that have interest and parents. She's always meeting with a parent or a student and giving them guidance and being successful through the program. And there's just some kids that they just don't function very well in an environment around 600 other kids, and so this gives them that opportunity where they can come in and learn and prosper, and they can all go through the different pathways that we offer at the majority of them that we offer at the high school, and in the end graduate with a Greensburg diploma.
All right. We're excited that's kicked off well, and then we've got tons of kids in the schools, obviously in the classrooms. So I know you've just got some updates to run through with us. And
yeah, all of our classes at our elementary are very balanced out and are where we need them. There's not any super large classes, but we don't have any small classes. Our kindergarten class overall, we did see an increase to where we do have pushing 130 kids in kindergarten. Concern there for a while. It looked like we're going to have about 100 kids in kindergarten. So we're getting back up more to what's normal. 145 to 150 would be normal kindergarten class. So hopefully that loss that we had there for a couple of years maybe due a little bit to the COVID situation we had. Hopefully that's over. We usually run about 150 kids, 145 to 150 kids per class, and then bringing in the St. Mary's kids who come over. Once they get into high school, our classes will run somewhere around 170 to 180 kids. So little bit less stability than maybe what we've had in the last decade, but still, in talking to other school districts around us, I think we're still in pretty good shape. Our numbers aren't going to be affecting our funding as dramatically as some are going to see from their ADM reducing large amounts, but our main concern as far as funding is with the property tax increase that we have, or that we have an increase in the amount of property taxes that we're not going to get.
Yes.
So that's our greatest concern, and we'll just have to see how that all plays out. That is one thing we are done with, essentially the budgeting process. We had our public hearing last night on our capital projects and bus replacement plans. We will adopt those in our September meeting. I've turned over our entire budget to the city council, which has to approve our overall budget, and they'll do that in October, and they'll have their hearing on that in September. So, the process is off and running. Our budget's not going to deviate a whole lot from what it was last year. One of the things that did kind of surprise me a little bit is last year our AV was $1,027,000,000, and it actually increased again this year. I thought we might have a decrease in our AV, but it went up to $1,043,000,000. So that's going to play a role. That 1.5% increase that we had in AV, that'll play a role to even further reduce the tax rate for the schools. Right now, when we look at last year, we were at 0.69. I would assume that this year will be even a little bit lower than that. We advertise about a $30 million budget when the DLGF comes in and makes all their cuts and looks at those decreases in property taxes and looks at the tax caps that we have for the various funds. We're probably going to be in a $25-26 million range, which is really where we've been over the last 5 years. So our budget's very stable. We're not the lowest in the state, but we're definitely not the highest. We're probably in the lowest quartile, definitely in the state as far as budgets go. Our overall budget of 69 cents is probably lower than a lot of school districts' just operations budget. And there's a set of state guidelines that kick in. If your operations is over 40 cents, we're at 23 cents, so we're far below that, and I would anticipate it'll even drop even more with the things that are in place this year. So, the budget's the budget. We knew there were going to be some concerns this year. We've done some things to try to address it without greatly impacting, our staff or our schools. If this trend continues over the next few years, we'll have to make some more maybe drastic changes. But right now we can survive it. And like I said, we already had some things put into place. We're lucky we have, adequate cash balances in our funds to help during these tough times. That's kind of how I've always sold it to our teachers associations. These are insurance policies. Nobody lost a job in Greensburg schools this year. We were able to, through attrition, not fill some of the jobs, but nobody who was employed last year who wanted to come back this year, either as a teacher or as a classified employee, got cut because of budget cuts. So we'll just have to see how that plays off. We are right now in the process of negotiations with our teachers association. We've had an official meeting last week. We have another one next week, and things are going very well there. I think we're all on the same page. We will be able to give some increase to our certified employees the same way that we did to our classified. We did give all of our classified employees a 2% raise for this year, and that's not where we'd want to be, but it could have been a lot worse, that's for sure, because I know a lot of districts are looking at possibly even no raises and even some cuts in benefits. And that's the thing with our teachers is we're not going to have to cut any benefits as well, and we're not going to have to pass on any huge increase in especially health insurance costs to our employees. So, we want to be able to recruit the best employees, and more importantly than that, we want to be able to keep the best employees. And money is important. Everybody has to go to the grocery store. We know how high those costs have gotten. So we have to be competitive with our salaries. We have to be competitive with our benefits, or everybody does have a choice now. We talk about choice for kids. There's also a choice for staff members as well, to either go out there into the workforce here in the community or go to another school system to be a teacher there, where they may be able to garner a higher salary. So it's very, very busy in my office right now with the budget and with negotiations.
How frequently do you do the negotiations with the teachers? Is that a yearly thing?
We do it yearly. You can do it. You can have a 2-year contract, but everything's so unstable right now as far as with the funding. I would be reluctant to really budget something out 2 years from now. We have a hard enough time figuring out the next year without looking 2 years into the future. Some districts still do 2-year budgets or negotiations with their staff, but as I said, I just don't feel comfortable with the budget not being predictable for that length of time.
The stability is not there right now.
It's just not there. Yeah.
When you look across, you've got all teacher positions were filled as you went into this year's school year? All
of our teacher positions were filled. I think we have a very, very quality staff at Greensburg schools and each of our buildings. We just offer such a diversified curriculum, especially at our high school, that it's just amazing that we're able to fill all those positions with highly qualified teachers that have the certifications that we need. I mean, we have 45 dual credit classes we're teaching at the high school, and every one of those have to be filled with an individual that has a certification, primarily through Ivy Tech, that they're able to teach those classes, and every one of our staff members are. So that's, I applaud them. We've provided the professional development that they've needed, and in some cases the classes that they've needed to take so that they're able to teach those classes. And so, we're very fortunate to be filled. There are some positions around the state that are open. I think there's probably around 2,000 teaching openings in the state right now. Haven't looked lately, but the last time I looked, it was in that neighborhood. So it's very, very difficult to fill special ed positions, very, very difficult to fill math and science positions in the state. And then the technology positions, like the Project Lead the Way classes we have, those are really, really difficult to fill.
When you talk about budgeting and looking to next year, the programs you guys currently have in place, nothing as of now will change for next year.
We will do everything we can possibly do not to reduce programs. One of the things that we will have to look at is there may just be some programs we don't have any kids. That could lead to maybe that individual class not being offered next year. But as long as we have the kids, we're going to have the program. It's just like our JAG program at the high school. This past year we had 25 kids involved in the JAG program. Unbelievably successful program this past year. Jessica Parker's done a super job. This year we have 75 kids enrolled in that program. And of course we know the workforce, they reduced the funding for that program. We're going to get through this year with it. But that's a program, we're not going to do away with that program. We will fund that program. It's providing an unbelievable, resource for our kids, for industry in our community, businesses in our community. It fills a void for the kids in being actively involved in something in the school rather than maybe extracurriculars. We looked at those kids, 80% of those kids that were involved in JAG, they were not involved in an extracurricular.
Really?
So now, they've got something that's theirs. They're in the school. Jessica just does a great job relating to the kids, working with them individually, giving them the direction they need. And it just really enjoy going by that area there in the building where she has just kids in there working on a wide variety of things. People coming in, working with them from the community, them going out, making tours of business and industry here in the community. The lessons that they're learning in that JAG program are invaluable. And then one of the most important things with it is she actually follows through for a year after they graduate to make sure that they're getting direction and continuing where they were headed. So it's one of those programs that has just made itself invaluable.
Just to look at the numbers, the growth.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it's just like we identified, the need for us to be able to go out and recruit new teachers. When you look at our education program that we're offering there at the high school, again, 75 kids or so involved, maybe even a little bit more than that right now, but 7,500 kids involved in the education program that Mrs. Cummer offers there at the high school. Just invaluable to get the kids to get that experience. Will all of them become teachers? Absolutely not, but some of them will. And we already have some of them looking at coming back or have come back to Greensburg because of programs like that. So we're going to continue doing the things that we do well. And the nice thing about all of our programs, kids can go down the hall or go down the street to the learning center and they can get what they need. They don't have to get on a bus and ride an hour. It's right here in our school district. We still offer the classes through Ivy Tech, the college classes for our kids, no cost to them. I don't think there's another school district in the state that pays for those classes.
And
the kids have a fee.
And they're coming out with an enormous amount of college credits, so that's taking off even that associate or bachelor's degree, that cost way down.
Well, we had 60 kids who graduated last year with their first year of college done. I mean, just think of the value of that. You go to IU, go to Purdue, go to Ball State, go wherever. In Indiana, that's paid for. So when you look at room and board for a year and you look at the classes for a year, probably anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000
easily
that parents saved for those kids to go to school from what they received at Greensburg High School. We've talked a lot about that, but I can't say enough about that. And our community is very, very supportive. Our board, this all comes down to our board sees that as a priority to provide those things to our kids that are going to help them be successful. We put the $2 million vocational wing on our high school so that our kids could get the classes they need there in advanced manufacturing and construction. We went from having, about 100 and maybe 110 kids a year involved in, our vocational programs to now we have, 350 to 400 kids involved in those different areas. And, they're not all taking, a full load of vocational classes, but they're all getting some of those classes, and it's just very, very important.
We earlier this week had the announcement that you had several kids that took the CNA course over the summer, and that continues. That's a thriving program as well. Thriving,
and again, we look at that, and we had 9 kids who took the summer program, and all 9 of them, day before yesterday, I was at a little graduation ceremony for them. All 9 of them passed their CNA, and I think all but one of them, and it might be that person's choice right now, but I think all of them have employment right now in the community. Probably all of them are part-time because they're all still students, but just a great program. Annie Wilkeson runs that program for us. Again, it's at our high school. If you go by the classroom, it looks just like a hospital room. We've done a great job of putting it together that way, and they get fully, I think, trained in all the aspects of the CNA, which, some of them will go out into the community and work as CNAs. A lot of them are using that as a stepping stone because they know they want to go on to school and they're going to be RNs. So it's a great experience for them to go into that RN program where they already know those things that the CNAs are required to know.
And that program continues throughout the school year as well.
Yes, yeah. And I think she has right now 15 kids. So, that'll be another group. I'm sure she'll offer it again next summer. The accelerated program will have kids that are involved in that. So, when we look at all of those different programs, whether they're the education programs or nursing or construction or welding. We got a tremendous amount of welding kids at the high school this year. All of those kids can go out there in the community, and if they choose, they can get a job next year upon graduation.
It's amazing, the connection as they start to make their way through these programs and make those connections throughout the community. And it's fun for us to start to see them being a productive member of our society right here.
And the thing with it is, if it weren't for the community partners, none of this wouldn't work, because there wouldn't be any place for them to go and get the hands-on training that they need. Jessica started a few years ago the program where she brings in over 100 different businesses and industries here in the community for the kids to be able to talk to and interview with, and some cases get jobs in the spring going right out of high school. And we'll have that again in the spring at our field house. She'll be coordinating that. The JAG kids are all going to play a role in helping set that whole thing up. She was saying last night at our board meeting. Last night we had Jessica come in and talk to the board about JAG. Of course, they were very, very impressed with what that program's doing. And we also had Jennifer come in and talk about the virtual school. And we had Stephen Harmeyer come in and talk about the marketing that he's helping do with Greensburg schools. So we had a little bit of show and tell last night at our board meeting.
It's always good, though, to be able to show all the growth that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that breeds success like success. And I've always said, if you build it, they will come. But the key for them coming is you got to go out and you got to promote it. And I think we've done a really good job this year. We have a much greater presence on social media, and just the communication that we do with parents through our Parent Square and Seesaw in our buildings. It's very, very noticeable.
Let's talk anything new going on in elementary school right now. I know they're underway and going.
Well, really not a whole lot of new things. Our focus in elementary is really in that preschool program. We have about 58 kids, I think, attending preschool to get them ready for kindergarten. Then we really look at kindergarten, first and second grade, to get kids where they're reading. Our goal is every year is 100% pass rate on the iRead test. We didn't quite hit that. I can't really talk about that because it's all embargoed still, but we did really well again this year on our iRead scores. And got to keep in mind, every kid has to take that iRead test. So there are some kids just cognitively aren't ready to where they can pass that test. So I think the job that they do at the elementary, making sure that every single kid who has the ability to pass that test, that they pass it, they do a wonderful job. And we're gonna be right up there where we should be again this year. Those scores will probably be out in a month or so you can kind of see where we're at. We've been one of the highest scoring iRead test takers, I guess, in the state for the past few years, and we look to continue that trend. And we're always going to focus on that kindergarten, first, second grade, in getting kids at the reading level they need to be, because the old adage, you can't succeed if you can't read, that's always going to be true. And we've a real focus on our maths scores from the iLearn test, and on our reading and language arts scores from the iLearn test. We're really trying to focus on making sure we can do the best in all that testing that we can. But we do know that there's a lot more to learning than that test. So we're still going to focus on those things. Keep in mind that our elementary, our junior high, and our high school, we're all recognized by Project Lead the Way for what they provide at a national level to our kids. And it's great, having that recognition both at the building level and as a district level for the high achievement that we have there. We're STEM certified now at our elementary and our junior high, and our high school will be focusing this year on getting that STEM certification up and going at the high school. A little bit more complex there with all the other things we're doing with the different pathways that we're offering the kids. we will get there as well. So I mean, it's kind of unbelievable, all of the technology and classes that we offer there at the high school. You'd think it would just be check the box and you're STEM certified, but it's a process, and we'll get there. But just congratulations to the elementary and to the junior high on the process that they've gone through to get that STEM certification, which is it's very difficult to get. There's not that many districts that have their schools STEM certified, so that's always a focus of us.
When you look at the testing now, like NWEA, is that coming back again this year, or have things changed slightly? I
it's
thought
changed, yeah.
So will they see as much testing throughout elementary, do you think, as what they were previously?
We still have the pre-testing and stuff with the iLearn. There's still testing. There's always going to be testing, but we're going to keep it to the minimal amount that we can, because again, our curriculum, the state adopted curriculum, is so compacted. You need every minute you can to get it in. So every day you take testing is a day you're not teaching, and we want to make sure that we utilize every one of those 180 days as much as we can to teach.
Junior high, as you said, was STEM certified as well.
Yes.
Any other kind of new programs going on in the junior high school, or just our normal curriculum?
We kind of made a commitment to try to do the things that we're doing now really, really well, and not to continually throw new things on our staff. And so this year's one of those things. We know there are things that we're doing really, really well in the elementary, things we're doing really, really well at the junior high and high school, and we want to spend our time this year doing those things really, really well.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how we could have, in the 7.5-hour day we have, I don't know how we could offer anything else.
They're packed days.
Yeah, it's a very, very packed day.
And this was something I didn't know, and maybe others don't either, but some of your advanced math students in junior high can go to the high school for courses if needed, which I think is a phenomenal opportunity.
Yeah, we have kids from the junior high, say they're 7th or 8th graders. They may be needing to take geometry. Then we'll bus them from the junior high out to the high school so they can take geometry. So it's primarily math that we see kids that are just at a really, really high level. And we've had 3 or 4 kids in the last few years that have needed that next level. They're sitting there as a 7th grader maybe with a bunch of high school kids, but academically they're ready for that. In the past, we were reluctant to do that. Why? I don't know, because it's never been done before. So we decided, that these kids, we can't hold them back because it's never been done before. So now we've had a lot of success, and the kids who we've allowed to do that, they're very, very successful. And they've got to meet some really, really stringent test scores to get there. And those kids that do that, we'll give them that option. Not forced to do it, but if that's an option they want to pursue, we're not going to hold them back either.
We've talked a lot about diplomas throughout this last year, getting ready and coming in as freshmen. That actual diploma has changed for the freshmen coming in. But pathways continue to be offered, like you said. We were kind of having a conversation off air about kids saying, I don't know what I want to do. But you were explaining that there's some flexibility there with those pathways.
Yeah, there's some flexibility. I mean, when you get to be a senior and you pursued probably the same pathway all the way through and not been real careful about what those other classes are, you may limit yourself a little bit. But really, as diversified as our curriculum is, and if you make sure that in the first couple of years you get the classes that you need that apply no matter what the diploma track is you're interested in, you'll be fine. And we'll do everything we can to make sure that no kid gets cheated on their diploma, that's for sure.
All right, so we've got lots of education going on, but we have fun that happens too at school, right? We've got extracurriculars, and sports are fired up, aren't they? They
kind of get going this weekend and next week, and they're full throttle.
Yes, we've got football, volleyball, cross country,
soccer, tennis, golf.
Got it all.
Yeah. And that really is probably one of the most satisfying things about being superintendent is just go out there after school and drive around or walk through the gyms and just see all the kids that are actively participating. Kids need activity. They need all the skill set that they get from being a member of a team. When we talk about the things that industry and our businesses want to see out of kids, what can you get better than teamwork and collaboration and communication and, following the rules and being on time and all of those things. You get those from extracurriculars as much as you do from sitting in a classroom, and they're very, very important. And when you look around our facilities, there's nobody in the state, especially a 3A school, that has any greater facilities for their kids to go out there and participate in than what we have. And I think, one of the things that people can complain, we spent money on a turf field, we spend money on this. Those extracurriculars are really, really important. And it's also important that, I hear it over and over and over and over again in our community, how proud our community is of what our facilities look like and what our kids have to work with. And, that pride, there's a lot of things in our community that we're not proud of. I think our school system is one that we can be very, very proud of, not only the facilities, but what our kids accomplish. And when you look at 60 kids out of a graduating class of 150, that they're going to go away to college next year with their first year of college paid for, that's significant. And then not only do you have those 60, but there's probably another 40 that have a large number of dual credits that are going to apply when they go on to college as well. Our kids get over 3,000 dual credits a year at our high school. That's amazing for a school our
huge
size.
Numbers.
Yeah, huge numbers. And just had this summer had notes from parents thanking the school district for what they were able to provide to their kids and how much that helped the family in just the cost of the child's education. So come out, come to athletics, come to all the other things that we offer: band, choir, concerts, academic meets when we start those up. Support our art program. We have a tremendous art program. Just be active in our schools. We want you in our schools. One of the things that we do, and sometimes it's a pain for us, but when we can, we open up our school to the community to use for everything. If you go to a large community activity, there's a good chance it's going to be held in one of our buildings, and that's what we want. Those are taxpayer dollars that paid for those facilities, and we want our public using it. We want them coming in our school and just seeing how we take care of those taxpayer dollars. Our facilities, I think, are second to none in how they're taken care of. If you walk to our high school, you would never know that high school was built in 1972. It's 50 years old now.
But absolutely you don't.
Yeah, and even our junior high that was built in 1957, once you walk into the hallways, you would never think that building was a 1957 building. And I guess our elementary school, even though it's 20 years old now, it's always going to be the new elementary.
It's amazing.
It still does look brand new.
It does, and the fact that it is 20 years old now, it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
No,
I guess.
No. And I think if you do have the opportunity to go to something down at the Learning Center, you'll notice that facility, we've upgraded that facility, and it's a tremendous asset to the community as well. And hopefully here in a few months, we're going to have the new daycare center open there, and that'll be another great asset for the community.
Is there a timeline yet on it, or I know that's a work in progress?
Well, they're finishing up all the paperwork that's necessary for them to begin the construction, but I think they should be beginning construction any day. If they haven't, it may even be today, so it'll be a few months before they get it to where they can open. I think their goal is to open on January 1st. That may be a little bit optimistic, but it should be sometime there the second semester.
It's really exciting, though.
Yeah, very exciting.
Very neat. Any other updates from the school system?
Oh, I think that's probably enough for today.
I think we covered it good, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
It's off to a good start and good numbers. Now, at this point, transfers from out of district, do you still take those, or is that deadline already been?
We will take transfers until we have a situation where it would increase our class size to where we would have to maybe increase staffing or whatever. We're not going to be able to do that.
Okay. So any questions, they can call central office or the respective
Call
schools?
central office. Yep.
All right. Tom, thanks so much for being
Okay.
in and updating us. And
Thank you.
You'll be with us the second Wednesday of every month.
Second Wednesday of every month. Yep.
Get all the updates.
So we're going to see if you are more successful than Sandy was.
Oh,
with
Mr. Hunter.
Yep, with the joke.
I thought I would get by with it today.
Nope, we're going to sneak it in here. Okay, since this is very appropriate, we'll start with a bus driver joke. Since we're
Okay.
starting busing. Why was the bus driver so sad?
Why was the bus driver so sad? I wanted to say something about blue, but a bus is yellow, so.
Yeah. Because everybody was talking behind his back.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. That is very appropriate.
So, Mark, I just want you to know that my joke was a lot better than yours.
But we do really appreciate our bus drivers, don't we?
Yes, we absolutely do.
We could not do school without them.
I have always said, we have the greatest busing staff in the state of Indiana, and I really, really mean that. I don't just say it. They are all professionals. They take care of our kids, and I don't know who, listening out there, who could drive a bus and really, just like I said there, you're looking forward, paying attention to the road, and having 60 kids sitting behind you. Many of our buses, we do have monitors on just to keep control, and we have a few rowdy kids every once in a while on a school bus, so we have monitors to help keep control. But the job that our drivers do, just thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love to hear it. So many of your bus drivers are retired from another career, and they say, "Yeah, I'm going to go drive a bus for Greensburg." I'm like, "That's great." I hear that so frequently, and you've got some good people.
I know one person when they retire is not going to go drive a bus. That is a job that you have to really, really want to do it, and you have to be very careful and very good at it. And we're very fortunate with who we have.
We are. Well, thank you so much once again.
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next month, and if something exciting happens in the meantime, you'll let us know.
I'll let you know. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
It's 10:30 on Tree Country 1330 WTRE.